Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
Juanita! Please don't leave. You can't do this to me.
You'll figure it out.
You have one unheard message.
Hey, Carrie. So, I'm kind of in a bind right now, and Dad's live-in nurse just quit. I was just wondering if, there was any possibility that you could come over and watch him.
Casey, he's terminal.
I'm not gonna put him in a hospice. Ever curious about what I do for work?
Casey, whatever you had to do to keep Dad alive, I don't judge you for it, okay?
How'd you get him outside?
Bed has wheels, you know?
It is directed and co-written by Justin Chon, who previously did Gook. By the way, that is a fantastic film. Y'all should really check that out. The main cast includes Tiffany Chu and Ronnie Kim, both of which are making their feature film debut. Congrats to the two of you. And Teddy Lee and Octavio Pisano, both of whose previous work I'm not familiar with. It's been a while since I've seen a movie that was so beautifully written and acted, and yet so poorly directed. Which hurts to say because Justin Chon is a talented filmmaker. Well, let's get to it. Okay, so I said that this movie is beautifully acted and written, and it is. Tiffany Chu is a marvel. She commands the screen as Casey. She's just a young woman who wants to take care of her father without putting him in a hospice, and in order to keep him at home, she has to take jobs, demeaning jobs, as a hostess at a karaoke club and as a sex worker. No, I'm not knocking on sex workers. A demeaning job is working a job that you hate and doesn't make you happy. Hate working as a cashier at McDonald's? Demeaning. Hate working retail? Demeaning. Hate working a 9-to-5 office job? Motherfucking demeaning. Plenty of sex workers enjoy what they do, therefore it is not by default demeaning. Casey doesn't like what she does, therefore demeaning. But let's get back on track.
Move along. Move along.
You almost instantly sympathize with her. She's treated like a piece of meat by the men that she has to entertain. She's financially ripped off by clients who give less than what they owe. Her main escort client is this douchebag, entitled, rich bitch of a man. And to top all things off, her father's live-in nurse just quit. And finding a replacement has proven to not be easy. Also, I have to question the logic here. Is this really a thing? Do people really go to their local hospitals, flag down nurses in the middle of the parking lot, and ask them to take care of their sick loved ones? Is that a thing? Aren't there companies that help with that? But never mind all that. Carrie is a solid character all his own too. He's a loser type. He gambles away what little money he has, looks for handouts, and clearly does not want to be there to take care of his father due to some troubled history. But what I like about him is that he does have an unflinching loyalty toward his sister. So even though he doesn't want to be there to take care of his ailing father, he will do so. He will walk into that self-perceived lion's den for Casey. And I really like that about his character.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
It's simplistic, but effective. And their shared chemistry is really good too. They feel like real siblings. They give each other shit. They comfort each other when they're down. They're brutally honest on occasion. And they're not afraid to do their own thing, even if it contradicts their obligations. All of this is incredible and holds the film up really well. However, I do have my gripes. Perhaps it's the theater kid in me, but I really hate it when actors do not face the camera. There are some scenes early on in the movie that showcase Casey and Carrie talking to each other and clearly supposed to be emoting. But they're not facing the camera. Instead, we're watching a sunset. No. 1,000 no's. Acting is all about showing the emotions on an actor's face. If you want the scenery to do the talking, then shut the actors up. But amazingly, this sunset in this one scene does not speak to the overall narrative. Sometimes a different problem crops up. There's another scene that takes place not long after the one I just described, and they're in a room, and they are facing the camera, but the lighting in this room is so dark that their faces, the actors' faces, are kept in shadows. So you can't make out their emotions anyway. This is so maddening. I don't even know which is worse. You know what, granted, I guess this problem does dissipate over time as the movie progresses, but the fact that there was this intense of a problem that needed dissipating as the movie progressed is extremely distracting. And if that wasn't bad enough, this movie does have pretentious tendencies. You know those sewer passages that flow underneath like overpasses and shit? I forget what they're called, but you have Casey who has lonely moments walking around those, and you have like close-ups of her feet as she's walking, as if this is artistic somehow, as if this character is extremely deep. It's like, who actually does this in real life, though? The only people that I know who would hang out at sewer places like this are dumb teenagers smoking pot and drinking alcohol. Not deeply troubled auteurs. It's so stupid when I saw that, and I was a little worried at first. I'm so grateful that the worst that this movie offers is in the beginning, not in the middle and not at the end. Well, it's confined mostly to the beginning.
I agree as well. Shallow and pedantic.
Alright guys, I'm going to be tackling spoilers now, so if you want to avoid that, jump to this time code. Toward the end of the film, Carrie does become something of an unlikable character. Not that I don't understand why, he's clearly got some daddy issues, but there is a scene where his dad briefly comes to and grabs his arm. Naturally, this freaks Carrie out tremendously, and he books it out of the house. And then the next day, he tells Casey, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. Just put him in a hospice. I'm out of here. After one incident, he is just done.
You're a coward and weakling.
All of this happens after a series of scenes where Carrie is going through the trouble of putting wheels on the legs of his dad's bed and goes through the trouble of pushing him outside and around their city like a lovable lunatic. But one freaky incident and he's just checked out. That, all I can say after that is dude needs to get his balls out of his purse. For all he knew, that zombie-like grab was a one-time deal. But I do like one of the final scenes of the movie. I absolutely love it, actually. So, Casey has been a regular escort for entitled Rich Bitch, right? Well, at some point, they have a falling out. And they don't see each other for some time. She goes back to working at the karaoke club. But you'll never guess who she meets up with there. Yep. Entitled Rich Bitch himself, throwing a party for his boys. Things go about as well as you can imagine. Both Casey and this new girl are practically held hostage, not practically, they are, and forced to entertain these guys. The New girl refuses to kiss one of these assholes. This asshole basically assaults her. Casey gets up, slams a beer bottle against his head, and things only spiral out of control even further. Rich bitch hits Casey, rapes her, but as the new girl is running away to escape, every coworker in the building swarms into the room and beats the living shit out of entitled rich bitch. I would not doubt it if you told me terrible, awful shit like this happened in the real world. But man, I hope there's a swift retribution to follow, because I really like thinking that in a job like this that's dominated by women in grunt positions, they will rise up and defend each other from assholes like this. Because, fuck man, seeing entitled rich bitch's face all bloodied up like it was beyond satisfying.
Yeah, bitch!
Overall, I think this movie is really good. I think the acting is fantastic from a highly talented cast, who I really hope to see in future movies. And there's more than a few satisfying moments to keep the movie fairly memorable. Yeah, there are a few missteps in terms of character motivations, and I have no idea who to yell at, whether it's the director or the cinematographer for the questionable camera work in the beginning. But yeah, that doesn't hamper it too much, considering how well the movie is executed later on as it goes. As a recommendation, it's probably going to be a challenge to find it at your local cinemas, because, I mean, even I had to go out of my way to find a movie theater that specializes in, showcasing foreign films or very indie films. But honestly, if you find it, I highly recommend checking it out and supporting it. My honest rating for Miss Purple is a strong 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.